something beyond syllabus, beyond career, beyond curriculum, like industrial visit, guest lectures, special lectures, conferences, like that. As part of that, here we have Mr. Thiruvengadam sir with us give guest lecture. He is one of the great personality working with us in our Well-Tech High-Tech Engineering College. He have vast knowledge in civil engineering field, as well as in concrete, as well as in an entire civil engineering field. He is Dr. M. Thiruvengadam, BTech, MH, PhD. He completed his BTech from BTech Civil Engineering from Sri Venkateswara University, College of Engineering, Tirupati, and MTech from same Sri Venkateswara University, College of Engineering, in the branch of Hydraulic and Water Resource Management. And also he did his doctorate in Civil Engineering in the topic of experimental investigation on porous medium flow. That also in from Sri Venkateswara University. He have around 23 years of experience in teaching, 13 years as assistant professor and 10 years as professor. Like that, he published over 10 journals in international level. Now he is running a AICTE sponsored project titled on a study of flow through porous media in conveying boundary in water resource management. That amount of 15.65 lakhs from AICTE. We have him here. I hope he share his knowledge, and also you can gather from him. Thank you.
My special good morning for my student friends. I thank the Civil Engineering Department because they invited me to give a guest lecture on the topic of special concrete. I am very glad with you for another 1.5 hours to 2 hours. I am going to discuss about the concrete, special concrete. You know, concrete is a construction material. That concrete is having 3 or 4 ingredients like cement, sand, aggregate, and admixtures. If a concrete is less than 55, then we will call that concrete as a ordinary concrete. If the concrete, the compressed stress greater than M55, then we are going to call this concrete as a special concrete. In the ordinary concrete, the only 3 materials will be there, that is cement, sand, aggregate, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate plus water. In the special concrete, the admixtures will be added with this normal concrete ingredients, such that the property of the concrete is going to be increased. The property means it may be a setting time, or the compression stress, or the tensile strength, or the duration of the quarry, and the durability. How many years it is going to serve us. That details are going to be given in the special concrete. Next. So, special concrete is also a concrete other than the normal concrete. In the special concrete, we are adding admixtures. Therefore, it is called as a special concrete. Once you are going to add a admixture, that the concrete is going to be performed very well, and the durability of the concrete is going to be increased. Durability is nothing but the how many years that the concrete is going to serve us. So usually the concrete life period will be about 100 years. So at least that 75 years it is going to serve us. After that, even after the 15 years, the concrete is going to be started the disintegration, such that the load carrying capacity of the concrete is going to be reduced. Then we have to make some alterations. That means that we have to demolish that structure, or we have to improve that structure such that it is going to serve us for the design period. So in the admixture we are going to add, in the partial concrete we are going to add the admixtures. Next slide. So the materials used in the partial concrete is cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, water, some admixtures. That admixtures may be a mineral admixture or the chemical admixture. The mineral admixture is the materials which is going to be added with the cement concrete. That next slide. The various grades of Portland cements are there. That is the 33 grade ordinary Portland cement as per IS 269, then 43 grade and 53 grade. How these cements are graded? So the cements are graded according to the fineness of the cement particle. The 53 grade cement, the particle is very finer than the 43 grade cement. Then that 43 grade cement is going to be, the particle size is slightly bigger. Therefore, the strength of the concrete is going to be reduced than the 53 grade. Similarly, the 43 grade cement is, the particle size is more than the 33 grade. Then the highest size of the particle is in the 33 grade. So according to the grain size, the strength of the concrete is going to be increased. According to the strength, the concrete, the cement is graded. Other than these three grades, another type of concretes are there. That is rapid hardening Portland cement, Portland slag cement, Portland Barcelona cement. That is a fly ash added concrete. So here hydrophobic cement, that is the hydro means the water added cement. Then low heat Portland cement and sulfate resisting cement. These are the various cements we are using, and we are applying these cements to the concrete. So the admixture, concrete admixture, is used to modify improve the properties of the hardened concrete during the mixing or transporting and placing and clearing. So the benefits of the admixture. Once the admixture is added in the concrete, it gives the low permeability. What is the permeability? The permeability is nothing but the water passing through the concrete. The ability of the water passing through the concrete is nothing but the permeability. The unit will be 1 by velocity, that is second per meter. Then the corrosion resistance. So if you added the admixture, this concrete is going to reduce the corrosion rate. Why that the steel is corroding in the concrete, which is embedded in the concrete. So the steel is provided in the concrete. In the concrete there is a moisture as well as the air. So taking that air and oxygen and the moisture, the steel is going to be corroded. Once the corrosion is going to take place, the fine particle applied on the surface of the reinforcement such that the iron oxide is converted. It is a form of a powder of iron pieces. So this corrosion is going to be reduced once the admixture is used. Then similarly, the sulfate resistance concrete. So the sulfate and the salt and the other item is going to be hinder the concrete such that the concrete is going to disintegrate. Disintegrate such that the strength of the concrete is going to be reduced. So next item is the elimination of the thermal cracking. How the thermal cracking is takes place? When you add the water with the cement, at that instant the chemical reaction is going to be induced in the concrete. That not only in the period of chemical reaction, the thermal, that is the temperature is going to be increased. So if that temperature is not withdrawn, if the temperature is within the concrete, that temperature is going to give cracks inside of the concrete such that the cracks is going to be elongated or expanded such that it is going to give a bursting stress. Therefore, this eliminated heat during the process of the concrete, clearing of the concrete, this to avoid this thermal effect or to absorb that heat, we have to add some admixtures. Then there are two types of admixtures. One is the mineral admixture, another is the chemical admixture. So these are the mineral admixtures. One is the fly ash, the second one is the silica fume, beta-kaolin, blast furnace slag, and the ground granulated blast furnace slag, that is GGBS. These are the admixtures. These are mineral admixtures having good pozzolanic property. Pozzolanic property is nothing but the binding property. It is used to binding the materials and partly replacing the cement. These mineral admixtures are replaced in the concrete, some percentage. The main constituent is the cement. These are the additional constituents. Then the advantage of the mineral admixture: reduce the permeability and resist the sulfate attack. The third one, improve the curing strength. So fly ash. Fly ash is a waste material which is drawn from the combustion of powdered coal in the electricity producing unit. It is a light grey to dark grey in color. It is possible to, particle is finer than the cement particle. The cement particle will be nearly 1 by hundreds of mm. Still this fly ash is less than that ordinary cement particle size. So it is since the particle size are finer, then the capacity is going to be increased. It has the surface area of 300 to 700 meters per kg. That means if the surface area is the circumferential area of the cement particle, so if you measure 1 kg cement, then the surface area of the particle, all the particle, it is 300 to 700 meters square. That is the surface area. More surface area, more contact with the cement particle with the water, it is going to give more strength. So the size of the particle is less, the area of surface is more. Therefore, if the size is less, it is going to give more strength due to this surface area of reaction. Then the chemical composites is 30 to 60% of silicon, 15 to 30% of aluminum oxide, and 30% of carbon, and 1 to 7% of calcium oxide. It is used to mass concreting dams. So here this fly ash is added of the concreting for the concrete dams. There we are not going to use the RCC, that is the steel we are not going to use. There we are using the mass concrete. In this mass concrete, this type of fly ash will be added, and not only the dams and the retaining walls also we are using. And this fly ash concrete is used in RCC also. So the functions of the fly ash. So if you are going to add the fly ash in the concrete, the setting time is increased. Ordinary Portland cement, the setting time, initial setting time about 30 minutes, the final setting time about 10 hours. So within that initial setting time, that concrete is to be carried and put in that position, such that that setting time within half an hour you have to do that. Then if you add the fly ash, the workability and the flow of concrete is going to be increased. How the workability is increased? What is meant by workability? The workability is nothing but the process by which we are, when we are going to handle the concrete, if the handle, if it is easy, that workability is more. If it is difficult, the workability is less. So if the more water is added, the concrete is going to be fluidity, then it is easy to work. But if the more water is added, the strength of the concrete is going to be reduced. How? If the water is, why we are adding the water? For the chemical reaction we are adding the water. Once the water is added, the water particle and the cement particle reacts, and the chemical reaction is induced. That the chemical reaction also induces the temperature and the binding property. So this item is happening within that half an hour from the time of adding of water. So this is the workability. This workability is estimated to the slump test. So next is the bleeding and segregation of the segregation is reduced for the fly ash concrete. What is meant by bleeding? So here, once the water is added with the concrete, the more water is added, the concrete is going to flow. That means the water is more. So the amount of water in the concrete is going to take care of two works. The first work is this water, a part of water is going to react with the cement particle. Some quantity of water is taken for the reaction. The remaining excess water is not going to roll in this concrete. That water will stay within the concrete after curing, and after 28 days, if the concrete is dry, that concrete air bubbles within the concrete is going to explode such that it is going to make a voice in the concrete. That the voice is going to give less strength of the concrete. So the breeding is nothing but the cement slurry and water excluded from the concrete at the time of wet or pouring. So that the bleeding is going to be reduced, and the segregation is nothing but the process by which dividing the water, cement, sand. So this is nothing but your segregation. How the segregation is happened? If the concrete is poured above the 2 meters, say for example, in the foundation pit, we will pour the concrete. So above 2 meters of height. So once the concrete is thrown, according to its density, the solid particle, heavier particle will be around the pit, and the middle particle, that less dense particle is middle, such that the cement, the sand, the aggregate is going to be separated due to throwing of this concrete. So there is a limit for that. So the concrete should not be thrown more than 1 meter height. So if you use more than 1 meter height, the materials is going to be separated. That is nothing but your segregation. Then the effect of the hardened concrete, fly ash concrete, it gives the strength, and it will avoid the thermal crack. Then the ultimate strength is going to be increased. Creep and shrinkage is going to be higher. What do you mean by creep? The creep is nothing but the strain within the concrete is induced. So this creep is nothing but due to the dead load or the permanent loads. So the creep, due to this load applied for throughout the life of the structure, the stress is also going to be retained within the concrete. That type of stress due to dead load is nothing but your creep. The next is the shrinkage. Once the water is added to the concrete and molded, after the setting time, then we leave that after 10 hours we are going to put in the tank. Before that, the concrete volume is going to be reduced. Once the concrete volume is going to reduce, the strain in the concrete is going to be increased. That stress strain increased in the wet concrete, the volume of the concrete is going to be reduced. Therefore, the stress will be developed at the surface of the concrete. That stress is nothing but the shrinkage stress. Why? Because the water is evaporated, the volume of the concrete is going to be reduced. Due to this shrinkage, stress is developed. Thus, stress is going to cause cracks on the concrete. So, that shrinkage should be reduced by this fly ash. The next item is chloride diffusion. So, in the structures or in the seashore structures, that seashore structures is going to suffer with the chloride. Due to the chloride, it is going to affect the strength of the concrete. And in the chloride there is a salt, that the salt is going to react with the concrete, and the concrete is going to be disintegrated, or it is going to lose its strength. Then the silica film. Silica film is a byproduct of electrical arc furnace in the manufacturing of ferrosilicon and silicon metal. So this is the silica film. This silica film particle is lesser size than the cement particle. How much less? 1/100 times of the size of the cement particle. This silica film particle is less than that 1/100 times of the cement particle. Therefore, it's a very, very finer particle. If you keep that silica film on the surface, in the air it is going to fly. So that is very, very less, and the density also less. But if you are going to add the silica film, into the concrete, it is going to give more compressive strength, and the silica fume surface area is about 20 meters square per gram. That means if you take 1 gram of silica fume and if you calculate that diameter and its surface area, that is going to give that 20 meters per gram. Then it is 100 times smaller than the average cement particles. The chemicals present in the silica fume is 80% of silica, 1% of aluminum oxide, then 6% of FeO3, that is the iron oxide, then the 12% of cotton. So this is the photograph of the silica fume. Since the diameter of the particle size is very less, it is going to be fly in the air. So we are going to use this into 3 forms, 2 forms in the solid and 1 form in the liquid form. So the silica fume, since the particle size is very less, it is mixed with some fluid, and it is available in the slurry form as a then lower size of the final particle and the coarser particle. These are the form of silica fume available for the concrete. The property of the silica fume. So the physicality is about 2.2. The fineness is 20,000 meters square per kg. Average particle size is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer. Then its bulk density. So we are having the unit weight of the concrete is 20 kilonewton per meter cube, whereas the bulk density of this silica fume is 13 kilonewton per meter cube to 43 kilonewton per meter cube. Then the color is light grey to dark grey. Typically, it is 5 to 15% is replaced the cement, and it is used for the concrete. Then benefits from silica fume are due to the Pozzolanic reaction, that is nothing but the binding property. Then the silica fume concrete. Here we are going to use the silica fume or replace some part of the cement, and this silica fume it is used to replace by about 10% by weight of the cement. And if you are going to add this silica fume with the cement, then it is going to give, it is going to be a super plasticizer. It may be used for high strength repair concrete. That means this silica fume concrete can be used for fresh concrete, for new work, and this concrete can be used for the repair work. Say for example, repair work means the olden buildings, the concrete in the roof slab is going to fall, and that the reinforcement will be seen. That the reinforcement is going to be a corroded one. Then using some methods, we are going to repair that beam such that it is going to take care of for the design load. So for this repair this material, here we are using the silica fume concrete. Then next slide. So this is metakaolin. This is also one of the byproduct. It is come from the your kaolinite. This is a soil item. This is purified, thermally activated ordinary clay and kaolinite, actually kaolin clay. It shows high Pozzolanic reactivity, that is the binding property. It is found that the cement paste undergone distinct densification, and as a result have to increase the strength or decrease the permeability. This is the another admixture which is used in the concrete. That admixture is blast furnace slag. This blast furnace slag is a byproduct of quick iron manufacture. So here the blast furnace slag and the chemical component similar to Portland cement. So this furnace slag is taken out, and it will come some particles that will be it is grinded again, and it is the sizes equal to your cement sizes. Then that powder is used with the cement such that it is going to improve the strength of the concrete, and therefore we are going to get the economical cost of the concrete. Then GGBS. GGBS is also a slag that is ground granulated blast furnace slag. So this GGBS is the non-metallic product consisting of calcium, silicate and other bases. This is used to replace the cement, Portland cement. GGBS makes the concrete stronger, more durable and more workable. More durable means it is going to extend the concrete life period, and more workable means it is easy to work with this concrete and at the time of mixing and transporting, etc. It also offers different environmental advantages. This GGBS and Portland cement mixers produce actually same binder, calcium silicate hydrate, that is produced when Portland cement is reacts with the water. So these are the chemical admixtures. The chemical admixtures are the materials in the form of powder or in the form of liquid that should be added into the concrete to improve the concrete properties. The function of the chemical admixtures: air entertaining, that means the air, if you add this admixture, air bubbles will be entered into the concrete, such that the air entertaining concrete is going to be less density, less weight. So for this purpose, this chemical admixture is used. Then the water reducing admixture. So once we are going to add more water in the concrete, it is very easy to work with that, but it is going to give a less strength. To overcome this, this chemical admixture is used such that the quantity of water which is going to add in the concrete is going to be reduced. Once the quantity of water is going to be reduced, then the evaporation of after evaporation of the water, it won't create any air pockets within the concrete, such that it is going to reduce the water reducing the water quantity required for the concrete mix. Next is retarding oscillation. So here some chemicals or admixture, if you are going to add this admixture, is going to reduce the process, or the process is going to be delayed. That means that the concrete initial setting time can be increased or decreased according to your requirement, adding this chemical admixture. Some chemical admixtures not only retard, it will oscillate. Oscillate means, say for example, the concrete initial setting time is 30 minutes. If you add this admixture, the initial setting time is going to be increased. Why? Because here nowadays we are using the RMC, that is the ready mixed concrete. Ready mixed concrete is prepared in the factory, and it is travelled through that lorry, and that concrete is going on rotating, and even 2 or 3 hours that concrete is not going to set. To set the concrete, we are adding this chemical mixture such that it is oscillating the setting time. So that is the chemical admixture for this retarding and oscillating process. Next is plasticizers. This is also a water reducing admixture which is added in the concrete. Then corrosion inhibitor. The corrosion inhibitor, if you are going to add within the concrete at the time of mixing of the concrete, that corrosion inhibitor is going to operate on the surface of the steel such that it is going to arrest the corrosion of the steel. So that is the corrosion inhibitor. Next is shrinkage reducers. Once the water is added in the concrete after setting, the volume of the concrete is going to be reduced. Once the volume of concrete is reduced, the surface tension stresses are developed. That stresses is going to cause a crack. To avoid that, this shrinkage reducing chemical admixture is used. Next is alkali silica reactivity reaction. So here we are using aggregates. That aggregates is going to be react with the cement, and the alkali item is formed and it on surface of the aggregate. To avoid that, we are adding some chemical admixtures to overcome that trouble than the workability. So these are the main important admixture which is going to be added for the concrete. So the workability, very less amount of water is added, and the percentage of the chemical admixture used such that the quantity of water added into the concrete is going to be reduced. Once the water is reduced, the evaporation is going to reduce, the concrete will be dense. Then the concrete dense means that it is going to give the more compressive strength. Then enhancement of bonding and damp proofing. So bonding is nothing but a process by which the steel and concrete is going to merge, or on the surface of the concrete, the surface of the steel, the concrete is going to be adhered such that the bonding property between the steel and the concrete is going to be increased. Next. Then water reducing admixtures. These admixtures usually reduce the required water about 5 to 10% such that the strength of the concrete is going to be increased. Next. Then oscillating admixtures. These oscillating admixtures are especially useful for modifying the properties of the concrete in cold weather. So the weather is very cold, then we cannot use the same process as that of the normal environmental activities. There we are going to use that isolator so that to get that required property of the concrete. So these oscillating admixtures increase the rate of early strength. That means ordinary concrete will take 28 days to get maximum strength, even though that after 28 days also it is also going to get the more stress, but that the stresses will be, we are not accounting for the design, and even 10 to 30 years up to that the strength is going on increasing, but 28 days will be the maximum. From that the rate of increase will be very, very less. Then it reduces the time required for the proper curing. So here at least 28 days of curing is required for the cement concrete. Why we are going to use the curing process? At the time of chemical reaction with the cement and concrete, enormous heat is produced. If you don't receive that heat, then that heat is going to be give internal cracks within the concrete, so that we have to absorb the heat produced by the concrete chemical process. There we are going to add this oscillating admixture. Then it reduces the water equal to 30% of the normal concrete requirement. It can be added to concrete with a low normal slump. Then water cement ratio make high slump flowing. That means the slump test is going to be decided the workability. So there for different percentage of water added, so then the workability is going to be estimated using the slump cone test. Then the processor is nothing but the water reducer. This will be added with the concrete such that the quantity of water added in the concrete is going to be reduced such that the property of the concrete is going to be increased. Next. Then this is the super processor. This is also a water reducing processor. It allows the reduction of the water and affecting the workability. So here the enable the production of the self-consolidating concrete. This super processor is added, and the concrete is going to be a loose concrete, and the concrete can be pumped. Say here in the olden days, the concrete will be lifted using the manpower to the 10th floor or any number of higher buildings. Whereas now we are using this super processor with the concrete, such that concrete is a flowable concrete. That concrete can be pumped from the ground level to whatever, wherever you want. There to get that fluidity, super processors are added. This effect actually improve the performance of the hardening of the crushed concrete. Then the addition of the super processor in truck during the transit of the RMC concrete is fairly developed within the industry. So the RMC is ready mixed concrete. That ready mixed concrete, the super process is ordered so that 3 or 4 hours also the initial setting time is extended. by adding this superplasticization. Then again, after that time, it is going to settle and it is going to give the final setting. Correspondingly, it is going to give strength and after 28 days. So this is the corrosion inhibiting admixture. If this admixture is added to the concrete, it is going to arrest the corrosion. Next. Then retarding admixture. So retarding admixture, so the setting time rate of concrete are used to counteract the acceleration, the effect on the hot weather on the concrete setting. That is here the setting time is retarded, means reduced, such that the initial setting time is going to be reduced to this type of admixture is added. So some situations the initial setting time is reduced and even the final setting time is also going to be reduced. For example, for road making, we are using concrete. If you use ordinary concrete there, that half an hour initial setting time and 10 hours the final setting time, the traffic will disturb that concrete, so that the concrete should be settled within a very less time to get that type of concrete. These retarding admixtures are used. Then the permeability reducing admixture. Already I told the permeability is the capacity of the fluid which is going to pass through the concrete. Then if the pores are interconnected, through that pores the water is going to be absorbed. That water is going to hinder the concrete property. Mainly it is going to give the corrosion property. It is going to reduce the corrosion property. There the permeability reducing admixture is going to play important role. Then the water cement ratio, most of the admixtures are reduce the water cement ratio, consequently reducing the permeability. Some supplementary cementing material, especially silica film, reducing the permeability. So these are the, if you add these admixtures, it is going to reduce the permeability such that the concrete is going to be dense concrete. That dense concrete is going to take a more load. Next. Then we are coming to our topic on special concrete. What is the special concrete? If you are going to add cement, water, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate, that concrete is called the ordinary concrete. If you are going to add some admixtures, that is going to be called as a special concrete. So this special concrete is aerated concrete or gas concrete or foam concrete or cellular concrete. Next is the bacterial concrete. The third one is the expansive concrete, high density concrete, and the low weight concrete, and low fine concrete, polymer concrete, and roller compacted concrete, self compacting concrete, and the vacuum concrete, and the geopolymer concrete, and the fiber reinforced concrete, and the sulfur infiltrated concrete. These are the 13 types of the concrete is classified in a special concrete. So air-resistant concrete is nothing but a concrete in which the air bubbles are created. These air bubbles will be created by using some chemicals. If you add some chemicals, just like your aluminum powder or powdered zinc or hydrogen peroxide and bleaching powder. If you add these elements within the concrete, that elements react with the cement and forming some air bubbles. So that concrete will be air bubbled concrete. That concrete is molded
And once the concrete is molded, some air pocket inside of the concrete, such that the concrete density is less. Since the density is less, the bearing capacity, the compression stress is going to be less. But some situations we need the less weight of the concrete. For that situation, we are using this air retained concrete, where the air bubbles allowed in the concrete, such that the weight and density is going to be reduced. So this is the next item is the bacterial concrete. The bacterial concrete is the very important nowadays. Lot of experimentation is going on this bacterial concrete. What is meant by bacterial concrete? So this bacterial concrete is added with a bacteria named Bacillus injected into the concrete. So this soil bacteria is going to convert the calcium into calcite precipitation. That bacteria is going to react, or it will eat the calcite materials, and it is going to precipitate the calcite. The calcite is a hard material. It is having a calcium content, and it is going to act as that of your lime. If you add with the concrete this bacteria, that bacteria will sit on the pores of the concrete, such that it is going to create the calcite precipitation, such that that hole is going to be filled. So once in the concrete the bacteria is added, that concrete is going to be a dense concrete. So where we are going to use this? For example, in the old buildings, the cracks are in the beam. The cracks dimension may be 1 or 2 mm. But within that 1 or 2 mm, physically we cannot repair that crack. There what we are going to do, we will inject this bacteria inside into the cracks. There that bacteria is going to convert into a calcite, such that the calcium is going to be formulated within that crack, such that the crack is going to fill, and the concrete is going to be free from that crack, and the load carrying capacity is going to be increased. So like this, the bacterial concrete is going to help us. Next. The properties of the bacterial concrete: this bacteria, single-celled organism, it can precipitate calcium carbonate in the presence of the any carbonate sources. This is not harmful to the human beings. Here there are 4 types of bacteria available, out of which this bacteria is very sensible, and it is not going to give any harm to the human beings. But other bacteria which is going to influence with the human surface, there it is going to give some interference. Therefore that type of bacteria we are not handling. It is not possible to handle, but this bacteria we can handle, and its temperature, any temperature it will survive. Where this bacteria is available, this bacteria is available in the soil. So every soil, this type of bacteria is there, that is doing some converting the calcium into calcite, and such that soil is going to be harder. If you add this bacteria into the concrete, that pores will be filled, or if you add in the cracks, that the crack is going to be filled, such that the bacteria is going to help us in the concrete. Next. So the advantages of the bacterial concrete: this technique improve the compression of the concrete, the durability, and the stiffness of the concrete. The next item is this precipitate the inorganic organic crystals. Then eventually they plug the pores and cracks in the concrete. It was found that the human with the bacteria performs better than the controlled beam. So here, if a beam is added without bacteria and with the bacteria, that beam is tested and compared. The beam injected with the bacteria is giving more load than the ordinary concrete load. Therefore, there are a lot of investigations are going on in this advanced bacterial concrete. Next. Then GGBS is the ground granulated blast furnace slag concrete. This may be called as a GGBFS. That means ground granulated blast furnace slag is obtained by the molten ash. So it is an industrial waste product. Here the ash is raised to maximum temperature such that it is going to be molten. That is a flowing item. Then this molten ash comes as a particles. Then that the particle is going to be grounded and make to a fine particle such as that of your cement particle. Then this material is added with the cement such that it is going to be increase the strength of the concrete. Usually this powder almost white in color, and this concrete required long setting time. So if you add this GGBS with the concrete, the setting time is going to be increased such that we can work more hours with that concrete. Next. So then GGBS properties. Concrete has a lower and earlier strength. So here in the ordinary concrete, the strength bearing capacity, the compressive stress is going to increasing from 7th day to 28 days. So as per the code, we have to take the compressive strength after the 28 days of curing. So some situations we cannot get that 28 days of curing. Some situations we have to cure that concrete, pour that concrete and come into the load carrying capacity within that 28 days. That type of concrete, that what situation, we are going to use this GGBS concrete, which is going to give the earliest strength. So here, the particle is finer than the Portland cement, that is 4,000 cm square per gram to 6,000 cm square per gram, resulting increase in 28 days of strength within 2 or 3 days. So that is the advantage. Then GGB is replaced with the cement with 20%, 30% and 50% and 60%. Here, this is the percentage of GGB is added with the cement such that it is going to give a stronger material. Next. Then advantage of the GGBS. When the GGB is used in the Portland cement, ensuring it higher durability. Durability means the lifelong the lifetime period, or the concrete is how many years it is going to serve. Therefore, the more year it is going to serve once the GGB is added with the cement. It reduces the temperature at the time of chemical reaction, and it is reduce the thermal, that is a heat producing item is going to be reduced. Then improve the workability, then high strength, low permeability, corrosion resistance, sulfate resistance, and estimation of thermal cracking, elimination of thermal cracking, and used in the high-rise buildings and marine applications such as dams, seashore structures, and the effluent and sewage treatment plants. These are the places we are going to use this GGBS concrete, which is going to serve us for the required design period. Next is the lightweight concrete. The lightweight concrete is as that of you are already discussed the air-entered concrete. The lightweight concrete, the density is going to be less. How much it is going to be less? So the ordinary concrete, the unit weight will be 24 kilonewton per meter cube, whereas this lightweight concrete is 13 to 18 kilonewton per meter cube. Thereby, nearly 1/4 times of the weight is going to be reduced. Once the weight is reduced, the dead load, which are calculating for the design purpose, the load is going to be reduced. For example, for 28 days concrete, the 28 Newton per mm square is the compressive stress. Here it is 30 Newton per mm square. Therefore, the load carrying capacity is reduced. Similarly, nearly 25 to 30% of the dead load is going to be reduced. Once the dead load is going to be reduced, the size of the beam, size of the structure is going to be reduced. And not only the size of the structure, and the corresponding steel area required for that beam is also going to be reduced since the load applied is less. The property of the lightweight concrete. The lightweight concrete is generally easier to handle, and the slump value is 50 to 100 mm, and the type of concrete is the pumpable concrete. So here, the lightweight concrete can be easily pumped from the lower level to higher elevation. Then handling, placing and finishing of the concrete is very easy. So that is the property of. Then the advantages of lightweight concrete. The benefit of the using lightweight concrete includes reduction in dead loads, correspondingly reducing the foundation width and depth, and it is also going to reduce the reinforcement. Then the thermal properties is improved the fire resistance. So the concrete may come across some fire accident. So the building is going to be, the temperature is going to be increased. So some situations, if the temperature is increased beyond 500 degrees centigrade, then that structure is going to be demolished. Or if the structure prone to a temperature less than 500 degree, then we make some repairs on the structure, then we can use that structure for the further use. Then transporting and handling purposes also is going to be reduced. Then the former area of the formula is going to be reduced. Next is the polymer concrete. This concrete is a very advanced concrete. So this polymer concrete is innovative and modern material. This polymer is going to made up of more than one molecule called monomers. So the long chain material is nothing but the polymer. This polymer is used as a binder with the cement, and the polymers are essentially hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons, it is a petroleum product item. The process of conversion of monomers into polymer is called polymerization. So the single cells is converted into a long chain, then forming a polymer. That polymer is used as a binding material in the civil engineering. Next. The types of polymer concrete. Here we are having three types of polymer concrete. One is the polymer concrete. Only polymer is added in the concrete. The another item is polymer impregnated concrete. Here the polymer impregnated concrete, the aggregate, sand, no sand, the aggregate is spread on that volume of the beam. Then the polymer is injected or poured such that it is going to fill all the voids, such that it is going to bind the two different aggregates, such that the load transfer is going to take place. Here the most cement is solid. Some concrete we are going to add some Portland cement. Some places without adding the cement, we are going to use this polymer concrete. The polymer concrete is thermostatic resins or polymers are used as a binding material. The polymer concrete is also composed aggregate that include silica, quartz, granite, limestone and other high quality materials. Then this is the polymer compositor. The polymer or epoxies are used in the concrete for achieving the certain special properties. That the special property, the strength and the durability, and this is acting as an admixture to improve the property of hardened concrete, such as chemical resistance, etc. This polymer concrete is going to reach the chemical resistance. Chemical resistance, where we are going to come across the chemical resistance. Then we are going to construct some tanks to store the chemicals. If you use ordinary concrete, that chemical is going to destroy that ordinary concrete, then it is going to leak or give some damage. To avoid this, this polymer concrete is used in the chemical retaining structures and improve the bond characteristics. The bond characteristics is nothing but the bond stress between the concrete and the steel. Once the bond stress is once this bond stress is induced in the concrete, then only the loads coming on the beam is transferred to the aggregate, and through this bond stress, that the load is transferred by the aggregate to the steel. There the bond stress is going to make some influence. The price of the concrete approximately 20 times of the ordinary cement. So the polymer is the disadvantage. The polymer cost is 20 times than your ordinary concrete. Then the properties of the concrete, polymer concrete is low permeability, that means it won't allow the water. And corrosive resistance, then is going to not allow to corrosion of the steel and the chemical resistance. Then especially suited for the construction and rehabilitation. That means this polymer concrete can be used for the new concrete as well as the old concrete for repair works. And the polymer having ability to withstand the toxic and corrosive and sewage gases and bacteria. The uses of the polymer concrete. The polymer concrete may be used for new construction or repairing of the old concrete. The polymer concrete is used for swimming pools. Okay, here in the swimming pools, if you use the ordinary concrete, the water and the chemicals is going to react with the cement particles, then the seeping is going to be developed. To avoid that, this polymer concrete is used for the swimming pools. Then the sewerage structures and the drainage canals and structures that contain the liquid or corrosive chemicals. That is the tank which is used for the store the chemicals. There we are using this polymer concrete. Then the advantages of the polymer concrete: rapid curing. That means the curing strength is very less, and it gives the more tensile strength and the flexural strength and the compression strength, and it is very adhesive in nature. So this polymer concrete is going to adhere with the new concrete or even the old concrete. Then the long-term durability. That means the life period of the concrete is going to be increased by this polymer concrete, and low permeability and chemical resistance, and it is going to avoid the corrosion. The weight is going to be reduced such that the unit weight of the concrete is going to be reduced, such that the load carrying or the cost of the concrete is going to be reduced. Then the durability, high strength, these are the advantages of the polymer concrete. Next. Then disadvantages. There will be advantages and disadvantages. This polymer concrete, now the USA that people are using this concrete, and it is giving a very good performance. Since it is more cost, we are not used in the India. Very less places we are using, where the nuclear plant or the other important sector, there we are using this polymer concrete. The difficulty with the manufacturing with the manufacturing techniques and some safety issues arise in out of the use of the polymer concrete. The monomers can be volatile. That from the monomers only the polymer is forming. So it is a volatile material. So once it is that the fire accident has happened, the concrete is going to volatile and combustible and toxic. Next. Then self-compacting concrete, that is SEC. The self-compacting concrete is an innovative concrete that does not require the vibration for placing and compaction. So here, in the ordinary concrete, when you are going to put in the beam or the slab, you have to pour or you have to use the vibrator such that the concrete is going to be filled without voids. Once the concrete is filled without voids, then the density will be more, the load carrying capacity is more, and the concrete should not be honeycomb. There should not be any pores. So, self-compacting concrete is a concrete which is used, the beams and the roof slabs, and if you pour this concrete, the pumpable concrete, if you pour on the concrete one side of the beam, the concrete is going to flow inside of the reinforcement where the reinforcement is more, and manually you cannot apply concrete that much of reinforcement more. That situations we are going to use the self-compacting concrete such that the concrete will flow and fill the voids, and it is going to fill the top of the beam such that that the concrete does not require any compaction and vibration and poking, and it is going to give a dense and homogeneous concrete. So this self-compacting concrete, we are using the admixture such that the workability is going to be more. Next. Then fresh self-concreting properties. It is that concrete flowing concrete is a filling ability. That means it is going to fill for the small portion of the in between the reinforcement. Then, and it is going to give excellent deformability. Then the flowing ability, the concrete is going to flow within that reinforcement gaps such that it is going to fill that beams and roofs, and it is going to give you a dense concrete. Then height of the it is going to reduce the segregation. That means dividing the particle is not going to take place here. The composition of the self-concreting concrete is produced with the combination of the admixture goes on increasing about 2%. So if you add this admixture, this self-compacting concrete is going to increase 2% of the load carrying capacity. Next. Then fiber reinforced concrete. So here you consider the ordinary concrete. The ordinary concrete is very weak in tension, very good in compression. So some situations the concrete going to be used for tensile jolt. So since the concrete is very weak in tension, if you use ordinary concrete, the concrete is going to give crack on the it is going to give the crack in the tension jolt. To overcome this process, we are adding fibers. The fibers is nothing but a small thin wires. It may be iron or it may be polypropylene and nylon and asbestos, wire and glass and carbon fibers. These are the various types of fibers available. If you add these fibers within the concrete, this fiber is going to bond between two aggregates such that the tensile stress is developed in that area, is going to take care of these fibers such that the tensile stress of the concrete is going to be increased. So here we are going to add the fibers. The fibers are classified according to its aspect ratio. The aspect ratio is nothing but the diameter of the fiber to the length of the fiber. Then that aspect ratio is going to be fall between 30 to 150. So the fibers are in two types. One is the round, another is the flat shape. The fiber making improvements in the flexural strength and the fatigue strength of the concrete. Fiber concrete used for overlay of the roofs. Nowadays we are using this type of concrete. We are adding some fibers with the concrete, and we are using for the pavements, bridge decks, etc. And finally, we are going to use this fiber concrete for the safety lockers in the bank and some other important structures. We are using this fiber reinforced concrete such that it is going to take care of the tensile stresses which is coming in the concrete. Then, so in the ordinary concrete, micro cracks are present. To overcome this, these fibers are added. The properties it is brittle failure occurs, and inserting large diameter of the steel concrete is not possible. Therefore, we are using the fibers. That fibers are three types of fiber. Then it is going to give the more tensile strength, and it is going to avoid the cracks also. Then the tensile strength. The tensile strength of the concrete. Where we are using the tensile strength of the concrete. For all the structures, we are not considering the tensile strength. For tensile strength, we are using the steel. But in the water-retaining structures, some portion of the tensile stress is allowed on the concrete, such that you should not create some cracks. Therefore, the water-retaining structures are designed for flexure as well as the crack. There we are going to use these fibers. Then if you are going to use this fiber, it is going to increase 1.33% for 5% fibers. Thus adding fibers to increase the direct tensile strength. However, the incorporation of the steel fibers, then the application is pavement. The pavement concrete we are going to use this fiber concrete, and tunneling linings we can use this fiber concrete, and pavements and slabs and back blockers. There we are going to use that the structure is going to be, this is the blasting. So that type of blasting will be reduced or avoided by this fiber reinforced concrete. This type of concrete is used in the bank lockers and the safety lockers. Some important structure in the nuclear power plant, there we are using this fiber reinforced concrete. Next is no fine concrete or previous concrete. First we get no fine concrete. Here in this concrete, the sand is absent. In this concrete, we are using only cemented aggregate. So once the cemented aggregate is used and there is a gap between two particles, that two particle gap is not going to fill with any material, and the cement is making a cover on the particle of the coarse aggregate, and the coarse aggregate point it is going to make making a large volume. So that large volume is going to give you a void. That void is 20 to 30%. So this type of concrete we are not using for the RCC, but for cycle stand, wherever we need, some water is going to be allowed to percolate into the ground, such that the groundwater is going to be improved. Therefore, we are using this porous concrete in that area. Here, the drainage rates commonly range from 100 to 900 liters per minute. That is the water flowing concrete. The water ability to send is nothing but 100 to 900 liters per minute. Then the foamed concrete. Here we are using some chemicals such that the foams is going to be created in the concrete, and this concrete is self-leveling, self-compacting, and any pumpable item. So this concrete is used in the temporary roads and thermal installation. Next. Then the sulfur infiltrated concrete. The name implies the sulfur is injected into the concrete. There in the concrete there will not be any cement. Only the sulfur is used. The sulfur is in the powder form. That the sulfur is the temperature is increased such that that powder form sulfur is converted into a fluid form. That the fluid is injected into the aggregate. Then the sulfur is going to be filled at voids such that it is going to be get a very good very good composition of the concrete is going to improve. But the sulfur gives more strength. It gives several 100% of strength. That means, for example, it gives to prepare M100 or M120 concrete also we can get this sulfur infiltrated concrete. But it is more costly, and it gives the less permeability and more resistant to the corrosion. Then the sulfur infiltrated concrete gets more persistent, that is 100 liter per mm square within 2 days. Within 2 days we can get this 100 liter per mm square. You need not keep this in water. Once this liquid is poured in the concrete, then you have to allow that concrete to reduce the temperature. That period is nothing but the curing period. The compression 7 times increases than your ordinary concrete, such that the sulfur infiltrated concrete is going to be very, very useful. Where it is useful, precast industries, roof slab and fencing and the railway sleepers, we are doing that sulfur infiltrated concrete. It cannot apply with the cast in place of concrete. That shows that. Why? Because this concrete cannot be used in the site. Why? Because we have to make that concrete is a molten state. That will be cannot done in the site. Therefore, it should be used in the factory. Therefore, the precast items can be used for this sulfur infiltrated concrete. So the strength is more strength within 2 days makes this process to take this more load. Next.